Good morning and welcome to the chat on Newsday Amarillo and News Channel 10-2. I'm David Lovejoy.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Rhonda Lonnert.
And I'm still Chuckalicious, Chuck Williams.
And join us this morning, conductor of the Amarillo Symphony Orchestra, Mr. George Jackson, coming off a great show they had at Hodgetown. But man, you talking about bringing music to the people. They've got some tons of stuff coming up. Rhapsody in Blue on September 15th
Right.
and a listening event. Conductor, thank you so much, Maestro, for joining us this morning. I'm really, really intrigued by the Lunch and Listen program you got coming up on the 15th. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, what's nice about lunch and listening is that basically we kind of unwrap the music a little bit. We talk about some of the stories behind the music, what you might want to listen out for if you're in the audience, and a little bit, it's this idea that actually, of course, you can just come to the concert and enjoy the concert and have a nice evening. And, that's what we hope. But also, there are so many things in the background of every piece of music that we play, historical narrative, stories about things that are related to the composer, stories about both myself and maybe the guest soloists and artists that we have with us. And so often it's this idea of getting rid of the fourth wall and just sort of really getting. We do it on stage as well. And so you sort of feel part of the orchestra in the audience while you have a nice sandwich. So it's a really great afternoon.
Well, I just want to say that I did attend the event at Hodgetown, and it was extremely enjoyable. And when I was walking in, I was like, "How is this going to work? We got a country music artist. How's this going to work with the orchestra?" It was so awesome, and I really want to commend you for that. But tell us a little bit about the Rhapsody in Blue event that you've coming up.
That's right. So we're opening our Masterworks season really now, this next week coming up, which means that we're back at home in Globe News. Part of the thing of going to Hodgetown is, we're almost bringing what we do in the Globe News out to the people a little bit more. But we're also saying to everybody, come and join us in Globe News. This is us playing at home. If Hodgetown's the food truck that we cook Globe News is our restaurant. So what we want is people to come and join us in our home, experience the wonderful acoustic of Globe News, but also see us in our natural habitat. And we're starting with an all-American program. So we have 4 American composers, 2 living composers, 2 dead composers. And the idea is that we go through a sort of tour de force of American music history, starting in the 1920s, with Gershwin, with Rhapsody in Blue, with the famous clarinet solo at the beginning that everyone, I hope that people don't hear the clarinet and then go home, because that's all. That is part of it. And then we go into the 1940s with Aaron Copland with his cowboy ballet, Rodeo, which is set on a ranch. We move on to a premiere of a new piece by Christopher Lowry, which was written within the last few months. So that's a world premiere. So 2023, and then also a John Williams score, the Cowboys Overture, which was written in the 1970s, which we also played at Hodgetown. So it's kind of a bit of a musical history of American composers, but there should be something for everyone in that program.
Conductor, before we run out of time real quick, I want to ask you about coming up on the 30th. Winds of Change. Tell us a little bit about this Air Force, the former conductor of the Air Force band's coming to Amarillo. And it's going to be, you say, Hodgetown's the food truck, home field is the Globe News. You're going on a different turf for the Winds of Change on September 30th.
That's right. I mean, we don't just have the one food truck. That's the nice thing about the symphony, especially with that CMA, Chamber Music Amarillo. But we're very lucky because our executive director, my colleague Larry Lang, not only is a fantastic executive director, but he is also a conductor. And I say former conductor, but actually we've dragged him out of his former conductor, made him conduct. So you probably noticed him conducted the Armed Forces tribute at Hodgetown. And we thought it would be a great idea for him to conduct that. It's something he's conducted hundreds of times. But also he's a specialist in, wind and brass repertoire. And so we thought at CMA, the fantastic David Palmer, who's the artistic director at CMA, thought it was a great idea to really have a world-renowned expert in what you could say is symphonic wind music conducting that concert. And so that's exciting, and as I said to Larry, I promise I won't be taking over as executive director he conducts, because that wouldn't be very good.
That'll take place on September 30th at the Amtech Career Academy at 3601 Plains Boulevard. Of course, this week, the 15th, Rhapsody in Blue, and a lunch and listen seminar on the 15th. Go to amarillosymphony.org for a list of these great events. Conductor, thank you so much for getting up early and hanging out with us this morning.
My pleasure. Lovely to be here, always.
Thank you, sir. We'll take a quick break. Back with more chat right after this.